Today's topic is going to be all about carbohydrates. Some of you are so petrified of carbs. The problem is that most people that's the problem. Hey everyone, it's Christine with Gauge Girl Training, an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and chemical engineer by training, and today's topic is going to be all about carbohydrates. So let's get started. Alright, so the first question is, what are carbs? When I say carbs, some of you think of bread, pasta, potato chips, potatoes, you name it. That's what a lot of people think of when they think of carbs. But what are carbs? Carbs are actually known as a group of chemicals called saccharides. These chemicals consist of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And when you think of a carb, I want you to envision a string of pearls where a longer string of pearls is made up of individual beads and consisting of a long chain. Each individual bead on the strand of pearls represents a unit of sugar. So for instance, simple carbs would consist of only 1 to 2 pearls. So picture really short chain. Simple carbs are things like honey, fructose, things naturally found in fruit. Now, a complex carb is something that's going to be a longer string of pearls where we're talking about complex carbohydrates, things like brown rice, sweet potatoes, things that are digested at a slower rate. Why? Because the molecule is more complex. Hence why we call some things complex carbs. But what are carbohydrates? Now, carbs are the first line of defense for your body to function. Whenever you move, you stand up, you speak, you sit down, just me moving my hands, what is being used to generate that energy? Well, that energy is coming from glycogen. Glycogen is our first defensive energy that our body uses when we're going to move. Otherwise, because our bodies were meant to help us survive and thrive. If our bodies relied on stored fat every single time we tried to move, we wouldn't have the capacity to survive. So glycogen is our body's first store of energy that we tap into for any type of movement. Now, the problem is that carbs are important for cellular function. We need them to help us with muscles, to give us energy, to train hard. The problem is that most people just get too many damn carbs in their diet. That's the problem. And it also depends on the quality of carbohydrates that you eat. But if you're eating way too much, now a lot of people think of carbs, they know that carbs will spike your insulin. Insulin is the fat storing hormone. That is a bad thing. We do not want to be at an unhealthy level, being obese, which leads to all kinds of health problems down the road. But the thing is, some of you are so petrified of carbs that you don't eat any and you can't lose fat and you don't know why. Here's why. Carbs, yes, they release insulin. Yes, insulin is the fat storing hormone. However, insulin is also a muscle building hormone. Insulin is anabolic, and each person has a tipping point when it comes to how much insulin they have. So if you're not eating enough carbs, you're not going to be able to build muscle. You're not going to be able to build that type of muscle to support fat loss, and you're going to be just in a place where you're like stuck and you're like plateaued and you just don't have energy. Conversely, there is a tipping point where yes, if you eat too many carbs, you are going to compromise your body's ability to burn fat. But the thing is, there is a range that each person should have, and we are as different physically as we are chemically on the inside. So how much do you need? It's going to depend on your age. It's going to depend on your body type. It's going to depend on your genetics. It's going to depend on how active you are. It's going to depend on a lot of things. It's going to depend on what your goals are. So if you have goals and you don't know what the heck to do with carbs, if you're scared of them, if you're confused by them, check out GaugeGirlTraining.com and we'd be more than happy to help you out. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.